Hey, you guys, welcome back to the New Era podcast.
Yeah.
This is a fresh space where we talk about love, life, growth, money moves, marriages, mindset, and everything in between. Hosted by me, Kourtney. This is where real talk meets wisdom, humor, and conversations that help you grow through what you're going through. So, as you can see, you guys, I have a special guest that is joining us
Okay.
today. Some of you may know her, some of you may be brand new to her, but I first want to introduce this beautiful soul and how I met this lady. I am so grateful that she is in my life. I am so grateful for the people that we may not talk to every day, but let me tell you something. I have a group of ladies in my life that I love dearly, So I want to introduce to you Miss Vanessa Weeks, and let me give the introduction on how we actually met.
Yes.
We met in jail. I love to say stuff like that because it kind of
Yeah.
throws you, oh my God, you was in jail.
Yeah.
No, we was actually going in the jail and we was able to come out, saying thank God. So we actually met through jail ministry. And we ministered together to other ladies, and we actually enjoyed each other's company. And I don't want to, go into it because I want her to share, how we met as well. But yeah, so I want to bring to this stage this beautiful soul, Miss Vanessa
Okay.
Weeks. Y'all give her a hand of applause. Yay!
God bless you.
Hey, Miss Vanessa. So,
Hello, Kourtney.
how are you today?
I am just wonderfully blessed. I'm good. I'm good.
And you look fantastic. You look so
Thank you.
beautiful.
You as well. You as well.
Thank you. I first want to tell people because this baffles the mind. Please tell people how old you are.
I am 65 years old.
Don't she look good? Ain't God good? And if y'all
He's
see
good.
her, do you have any great grandchildren?
Yes, I do.
How
I
old
had
is
Amila is 2. She'll be 3 in December.
now? Do she look like a
Yeah.
great grandmama, y'all? If y'all would see her daughters, her sons, her grandchildren, I mean, like you would think they was all sister. And I know people like to say that, but this is so for real. I
Yeah.
cannot believe that she is 65 years old. I mean, when I
Yes.
say God is good,
He's
God is
good.
good.
He's good.
As they say, black don't crack. It don't at all.
No.
So Miss Vanessa, I want to, of course, I brought you on to because you have a beautiful love story that I want other people to be encouraged by. And some of our story is a little similar, but
Yes,
also
yeah.
different.
Hmm.
And like I said, we met in the jail. So talk about what I mean when I say that we met in the jail.
Well, Kourtney and it's a divine connection. That's what I can say as far as friendship. When I first met you, I connected with you with your spirit, and I knew Kourtney's real. And I love when we first met. You were just a straight shooter. You just, I mean, it's like it's just going to come up and out, and that's it. And if things are not right, you're going to check it on the spot, with whoever it is, and it's in a great way. But meeting through jail ministry, and we were able to team up and minister together and ministering. I can just still see us now ministering to those girls in jail. And oh my God, it was such a blessing. When we connected, we knew we were going to be affected because we knew what needed to be said, how it needed to be said, and God orchestrated us the entire way. We knew there was no plan. We knew basically when we got in there, it's like, okay, you need to pray. Okay, no, you need to minister on this.
Mhm.
And we connected.
Yep.
And the girls, how they gravitated to us.
Yes.
And God gave us just what we needed for each individual lady that we was ministering to. And it was just such a blessing. And then after that, we knew it was more to it than jail ministry.
Mhm.
So we connected as friends.
Yes.
And it was such a blessing to where here it was, we connected to one of the sheriffs,
Yes.
the deputy
Yes.
sheriffs.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, how could this happen?
I
Someone
know,
was
right?
like, okay, you all can go in now. And all of us became, friends and were
Yes.
able to eat dinner together and just enjoy each other's company and talk about the goodness of the Lord.
Yes.
Yes.
It was such a blessing. And I know that right now I think the jail ministry is on pause ever since, the
Yes.
C-19. But
Yes.
it was such a blessing going in there. And that was something that I did not know that God was leading me to, nor did I ever have a vision or a plan to go inside the jail. I was like, Lord, I don't even want to see one if I get a
Mhm.
traffic ticket or
Yeah.
anything like that, the to make me nervous.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, he actually ended up doing that. And the jail that we went in together, I was in this strange, and this is not about me. I was in this strange place in my life to where I was actually in a place of being divorced. And so
Hmm.
we kind of connected on that. I let you know what I was going through and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And you was able to encourage me. But little did you know that that was going to happen to you.
Yes. Yes. Was not expecting it. I knew things were, things were was rough. I can say that. God was blessing, but the person that I was with did not realize God's hands was on it. And it was intended for us to be together, but he couldn't see it. He
Mm-hmm.
really couldn't see it. There was a thing that I actually told him after I filed for divorce, and I told him that you're dealing with a generational curse,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it was. And I told him that the problem also was I didn't have his whole heart,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't have the person's whole heart, there's room for others to slip in, and
Wow.
that's when things happen. And I don't call them mistakes.
Right. That's
Yeah,
good.
they're not mistakes.
Yeah.
It's some things are just intentional because
Yeah.
it's just a part of that person's, makeup, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
didn't realize that's what I was going to go through at that point. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how long were you married
I
previously?
was married for 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. It's somebody
32.
out there 32 listening to us right now. Like that's their whole life. That is a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a long time. And you know what? It's a long time to not really know what marriage is about, what
Mm,
respect is about, what
mm.
honor is about, and then not really realizing that the man is supposed to love you like Christ loves the
Sure.
church.
Come on.
And if he doesn't have the basics of that, it's not going to be a good marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. So 32 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about now. So now you filed for divorce and you're single. So what
Mhm.
does your single life looks like? At what age were you at that time?
60 years old.
Oh wow, 60.
60. And at that point in my life, I'm like, I knew things were ending. And I can give you the exact year, 2018.
Mm,
2018, the habit that he had in the marriage of infidelity.
mm,
I endured physical abuse that I
mm,
lied about.
mm,
I remember it like it was just yesterday, that it should not have happened the way it happened. I was vice president of the bank and had to go to work with sunglasses on
wow.
because I had two black eyes.
Mm,
I had broken ribs, and I lied to my family and said I was drinking and I had fallen down the stairs.
mm,
And it was an absolute lie.
mm,
I was abused. I mean, and we had company in the house. We had a party going on during that time. I mean, we were not saved. Had a party going on, and he just, blindsided me. And
mm.
I just outright say he sucker punched me right between my eyes with his fist, and that's what fractured my sinus cavity. And that's how I ended up with two black eyes. Then after he did that, he immediately punched me in my chest, and that broke my ribs. Went to the
Mm,
emergency room. The doctors knew I was lying, but they couldn't do anything about it because I would not tell the truth. It's like I fell. I fell down the stairs. So I became one of those ladies that I uh, would would watch on TV, so to speak.
mhm,
You
mhm,
know, Lifetime and all that. It's like, my God, I'm one of them now.
mm,
And never knew that it would be that way. So that was 2018, and after what I call the last affair, going through, I didn't have to go through the phone. The phone just rang. At one point, an affair I found out about. Courtney, this is going to sound crazy, but the affairs was with our banker.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was with our banker for 2 years. He hid
Wow.
it for 2 years,
Mm,
and here was a phone that he had gotten a new phone, and the phone was ringing. It's like, wait a minute, this phone has been cut off. But I'm just telling you how things can happen so strange. And his new
right.
phone he had at work, but he would always guard that phone. I mean, even walk around the house with cell phone clipped on the underwear. It's like,
Not the underwear.
you get the underwear. You
Mm,
got a wife beater and underwear on, but your cell phone
mm,
is clipped on it. And I
mm,
told him, I said, I always know when you have an affair because I can tell the way you guard your phone. But
mhm,
this one day, this phone was ringing, and I was like, let me see what's going on in this phone. And when I picked up the phone, and here it was. I saw our banker with pictures and text messages and things. And it was 2 years.
Mm,
This is
mm,
the same person that at that point we were in church.
mm, mm,
He was a deacon,
mm.
trustee, chairman of the trustee board,
Wow.
serving communion, taking communion, but yet and still, this is what you were doing. So I'm just, I'm no hold barred. I'm just laying it out on the table because I know someone needs to hear this
Oh yeah, they do.
and really realize that, this is not the way life is supposed to be.
It's not.
So that was in 2018. 2019, I never, July the 19th, 2019, I fixed dinner and laid the divorce papers on the table. So when he came
Mm,
home, because I had made up in my mind it was time to leave. It
mm,
was time to leave because there was no intimacy.
mm,
That's one thing we need to watch as far as our wives as well. If you're not attracting them physically, you got to know something that's going on.
mm.
Especially and then some, and at one point I was doubting myself. It's like something's wrong with me, you know. And at that point, he was I already filled my head with who wants you? You're not the best looking person in the world. It got into my mind. It was mental and physical abuse. And that's
Mm.
what we need to be aware of. A lot of times, sometimes it may not be total physical, but when they get in your mindset, that mental abuse, that's something else, and words and things like that. So,
Wow.
file for divorce. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm 60 years old. What am I going to do?
Pause right there, Miss Vanessa, because
Yeah,
that is a lot. I didn't
yeah,
even know that.
yeah, I know it.
We have been in and out the jail, and let me tell
Yes,
you something. You are
yeah,
when I say a living testimony,
yeah,
your story is like it spells living testimony. And
yeah.
I'm not just talking about what you just said. I just know of what you share with other ladies in the jail ministry of like your upbringing and things that happen. It's
Hmm.
like, wow, how are you
Yeah.
still here, sane, in your right mind, like
Hmm.
not on pills, not depressed, not
Hmm.
because you, I mean, like you are the epitome of a living testimony. Like, I mean, and I would have to bring you back to share other stories because you got a whole. And have you
Oh
wrote a
yeah.
book yet? Have you wrote a book?
No, but I know it's in me.
Yeah,
I yeah, it's
you.
yeah, I've
We
had
got
a
to get.
prophet to tell me that, he touched my hands and he knew nothing about me. He said, it's in your hands. He said, God said, right. And I'd already thought about it, but I know I do have journals for when I was going through, but right now, uh Kourtney, it was so I have journals from those times in the 80s and things and 90s, the things that I endured. But it's still at this point where it's too painful to even pick up, even if my life is just wonderful now. But I
Mhm.
have to be in that mindset to go back to that dark time, go through my journal and start writing this book. But there is a book that will be written. There's a
Yeah.
book.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Jesus, because you
Yes.
have so much in you. Like it's
Yeah.
so much, and it
Yeah.
will help so many people. Like
Yes.
your
Yes.
faith, everything. Like it's
Yeah.
like the stuff that you believe God for. Like other people would have crashed and burned. Period.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Period.
Yes.
But so okay, so now I had to, because I like I said, this is new to me. I never heard this before. So
I
yeah,
know.
I'm just being taken back because I met your ex-husband. I met him
Yeah.
before. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I mean, very nice. I've been to your home, your former
Yes.
home, and
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just love them as a
Yeah.
couple. Like I mean, I loved the relationship of what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I didn't know all the
That's it.
nuts
Courtney,
and bolts.
I hid behind a smile for so many years. But now the smile I have now, it is genuine. It's straight from the heart. But I hid for years. I mean, because it was numerous things. I endured a child being born through our marriage. I endured, like I said, the infidelity, and it was the infidelity of the worst kind.
Mm,
And I can honestly tell you, I've been in the house. We one home, the home that we had before we moved into the other house, and I'm going to talk about that house as well, the one that we entertain guests with at the house. But I'm upstairs, and he was just so far gone with this. Comes through the door downstairs, bring his little mistress in or whatever, and they're in the bed downstairs, and I'm upstairs sleeping. I got to go to work the next morning. I hear noise, I go downstairs. He's in the bed with another woman. I had a gun and a knife. And the only thing is it was like I told you, this was like a movie. I had God on one shoulder and the devil on the other. The devil said, just kill him. You'll get away with it. It's crime of compassion. God say, what about your children?
Mm.
What about your family and your life? And I was wrestling with this thing. But here it was, it's like I had to let this woman out of my house. I looked in her face. I said, the same hurt that you just caused me, you're going to see it again.
Mm.
I had to unlock the door, let her out, and then hear the devil again. Just go ahead and shoot up the car while she's going to the car. Just go ahead and just shoot up the car. Do something. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And it was like an out of body experience. But I
Mm.
still stayed there after that, Kourtney. I
Mm.
still stayed there. And what do we do? He's like, I'm going to get saved. I'm going to get this thing together. And here it was, in the church, another affair. That was a 2-year relationship with our banker. Then another affair with someone that worked we had a car lot. And it's like one thing after another. But we built this home. I designed this home. I mean, this was my dream home.
The
Every
home
color,
that I saw.
everything.
The home.
Yes.
Okay, okay. It's
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Serenity, yeah, Serenity Lane. That house was on Serenity Lane. Built the house, and it's like, okay, this is it. He's going to do right now. That didn't happen.
Mm.
That didn't happen. But when I got ready to file for the divorce, because I was ending it, it was over with in 2018, because I said that was the last affair that I found out about. So I knew I was transitioning, and I'm like, I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, no, my peace of mind and my happiness is more than this. I cannot continue to go through this. This man's head is on a swivel. Every woman turns around, you're looking, not only you looking, you don't know how to have friends, you're having sex with your friends.
Mm.
Yeah. It's
Mm.
not that his female friends weren't just friends. It's like, man, you're sleeping with them. It's like,
Mm.
come on.
Mm.
But but I could always tell certain things. But I'm still saying, I'm praying. I'm in the church now. I'm in ministry. I'm saying, God, listen, I'm ministering to others. You can do this. You can turn his heart towards me. You can make this work. I wanted to make it work, but God had other plans.
Mm.
And when God told me to walk Kourtney and not fight him for that house, I'm like, God, are you really? God said, walk. I have better things in store for you. I'm like, but this is, you know, it was material things, but it was from my heart.
Mm.
It was what I wanted to live in. But
Mm.
when God told me to walk, I said, God, I trust you.
Mm.
I trust you.
Mm. Mm.
So I walked out of there. I mean, I remember I packed as much as I could in my car while he was at work and told my mom I'm coming home. I
Mm.
went back to live in a house that my mom and dad bought in 1968.
Mm.
3-bedroom, 1-bath home that I was raised in with my other 5 siblings. So you know how tight it was in a
Yeah.
900 square foot house.
Right.
There was no bedroom for me because my brother was living there and my sister was living there.
Mm.
So what did I do? I slept in the dining room, my
Mm.
mother's dining room. I left this 3,000 square foot home,
Wow.
custom built, to sleep in my mother's dining room on a cot
Mm. Mm.
with no privacy because it was her dining room.
Mm-hmm.
You come out the kitchen, you walk right into the dining room. You come out the living room, you walk right into the dining room. So I put a curtain rod up and a curtain just to say I can have a little privacy.
Right.
Or people sharing a bathroom, and we know how that can be.
Yeah.
3 ladies and one man. And
Right.
I'm like, here it is. I just left a home with three baths. But I'm like, God, I still trust you. At 60 years old,
Mm.
still hiding it on my job. I would not let them
Ooh.
know what I was going through on my job. And of course, I didn't, I mean, being a chaplain, I would not let them know I didn't miss a beat doing whatever I need to do in ministry.
Right.
And then we were still at the same church. We were
Wow.
still going to the same church. And I'm looking at this man serving communion, going through all this. And it's like, but you put me through hell.
Did the church know? Did people know that y'all were getting a divorce?
No, he didn't want anyone to know, but I told 2 people, of course, one being the pastor and someone else. Another person I told, of course, what they say, stay there, pray
Mm.
through it.
Mm. Mm.
Uh,
You did that.
yeah, I did that. I did that. And it's like, no, you know when enough is enough.
Yes, you do.
When God puts it in your spirit, it's okay and give you that release, run with it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not leave until God gave it to me and gave me that peace. It's like, you have my blessings. It's time to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I walked in 2019.
Mm. So the affair, the last thing I guess you were saying was in 2018.
2018.
Did it take you a year or was it like 6 months? I don't know if it was the latter part of 2018 to 2019. What took so long from that 2018 to 2019? Or was you like preparing?
I was preparing.
Okay.
He didn't know it.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the RV we had. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
my thing was, it's like, this RV is costing too much for repairs. We need to sell it. Well, it was my RV. So I'm
Mm,
like, no, I was selling off, but he didn't know what was going on. It's like I
mm,
was preparing
mm,
because it was something about that last one, and to and to be just quite frank with you, we had not been intimate with each other
mm-hmm.
for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sleeping in the same bed. He's on this side and I'm on that side. So I'm hoping I'm helping someone with this.
Mm,
Like I said, when you're not there with with that, it's gone.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But every excuse that they can make up, but I knew then, no, you're getting your loving somewhere else, but it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Mm,
was preparing in 2018 and 2019, I was ready. When I
okay.
had the papers ready, I had already consulted my attorney, and it's like, and getting things together financially, to where I need to just get out. And I didn't care about going back to my mother's house. If
Mm-hmm.
I had to sleep on the front porch, Kourtney, I was going to sleep there because I needed the peace. It's like,
The
I'm
peace.
out.
The
When
peace.
you're done, you're done.
You done.
You're done.
So I'm just trying to, like I said, I feel like our stories are so similar.
Yeah.
Um, but at 60 years old, because mine was at 40, and I look at the milestones, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I divorced when I was like, it was official at 40. Yours was, like 60. So
Hmm.
you looking at, and I know you probably were saying this like 60, I supposed to be like living my best life,
Yes.
enjoying life, like
Yes.
not getting a divorce,
Yeah.
not sleeping on my mother's dining room floor. And
Yeah.
I mean, that really and truly, I don't know. I know how I felt at that time, but I don't know exactly how you felt. But I can only imagine how you probably felt like, this ain't right, God. I left
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
called what you had was a mini mansion, to be honest. Like I called
It,
when you
yes,
was,
it was.
it was a mini mansion.
It
So
was.
I'm looking at the house that you was living in to now you having to
Yes.
share a house with 5 people and
Yes.
not even your own bedroom, just like
No.
you having to have this makeshift and make it, like
Hmm.
I cannot imagine how you felt in that moment. Can you explain and talk about what you felt like?
I felt like a failure in life.
Mm,
But I had to keep it together because of my children and my
mm-hmm,
grandchildren, because I even had grandchildren at that time as well. And I'm like, I can't let them see me broken. And then not only that, I had to represent God. Here
mm-hmm,
it is. I'm claiming to be saved,
mm-hmm.
sanctified, filled with God's precious Holy Ghost. So no, I cannot appear as a lunatic.
Right, right.
It's like, okay, God, you got to help me hold this together.
Yeah.
Because even while I'm going through, I'm tore up inside. And it's strange to say there was a peace, but there was also a confusion and hurt. Yeah, all this
Mm-hmm,
at the same time. There was a peace because I know I did what God told me to do. And I
mm-hmm,
knew I did what my heart wanted me to do.
mm-hmm.
It was over.
Right.
It was over. So I'm like, God, you got to help me. Courtney, so many times I was in that bed. I didn't have many sleep. I couldn't sleep most of the time.
Mm,
And I mean, 2 and 3 hours sleep. I just remember just lying there on the cart till I finally went ahead and told him I need a bed out of this house. So
mm-hmm,
I went back and got a bed and put a bed in there. You know how the old people would do dining rooms with a bedroom. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I put my little queen size bed in there, but I would lie in that bed looking straight up at the ceiling and tears just rolling. My
Mm,
bed would be just soaked with tears.
mm,
And I had to cry silently because my mother was in the other room. My brother was in his room. My sister was in her room. And it's like, and I was still the strong person. I took care of my mother and basically my sister and my brother as well. They were older, but I was the one that's like, okay, they were excited, it's like, she's back home, she's back home. I'm cooking and making sure everything in the house is running. Everything that I did there, I did at my mother's house.
mm,
But it was hard. It
mm,
was hit real hard. Then I was almost, second guessing myself. It's like, Lord, you sure you want me to go through this?
mm,
And I'm like, okay, you got something in store for me. You've got to have something in store for me. And then Courtney, I had made up my mind, it's like 60 years old. I was like, okay, Jesus, just me and you. I'm
Yeah.
going to turn this. I'm single. He's like, no one's that
Yeah.
because I was not going to look for anyone.
Right.
I was just not going to do it. It's like I'm not going to look. I don't want anyone to find me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to be content, me and Jesus in this ministry, and that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's enough. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I thought until something happened immediately after that. And
Okay,
that,
so pause right there.
yeah.
I remember when you called me and told me that you was getting a divorce and you
Yes.
were still working through. I'm not sure like when in the process because I think you had to tell me probably months after because in the beginning of when it happened it's always still so raw and so
Yeah.
people emotions and stuff and I can feel your emotions welling up when you told me and I started crying. I don't even know if you
Yeah.
did it, but I started crying because I just like I could not believe it because I seen, like I said, and I at that point I probably knew you for I don't know maybe 5+ years, some
It was some
years,
years. Yes.
yeah. And so, but I didn't see, I wasn't in the ins and out of your marriage. We knew each
Mm-hmm.
other by the jail ministry, and you invited
Mm-hmm.
us to your house one time, and that was pretty
Mm-hmm.
much it. So I still felt like your pain because I'm like, she been married 30 some years. Like
Mm-hmm.
who in the world would
Yeah.
want to get a divorce when you've been married that long? A
Yeah.
lot of people say, honey, you've been married that long, stay with it, honey, 30 some years,
That's what they
make
would
it
say.
40. Yeah, make
Yeah.
it 40, make it
Yeah.
50, honey. Don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about it. Just deal with it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you wanted to be happy. You didn't want to just have a
Yes.
marriage. I always look
Yeah.
at it as you want to look at it as things as quality, not quantity. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I would
Yeah.
rather be married 1 year and happy or single for years
Mm-hmm.
and happy than to have a marriage that I've been married for 20, 15, 30, 50
Yes.
years and
Yes.
and not happy.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
remember that phone call and it just broke my heart
Yeah.
and everything. And so okay, so now are you still in 2019 when you got your bed and everything? You still in that year?
Yeah,
Okay,
still
okay.
in that, and still in that year, and and to go back, because something I remember, you remember when you and we when we had like a dinner at the house that I was
Hmm.
at,
Hmm.
and you all was serving, we were just so happy, and you just said, I remember you saying that I want a marriage like this, I want to be like us. You remember that we were in the
Uh-uh.
garage?
Uh-uh.
When
I don't.
you were looking at both of us and everything, the house and everything and the entertainment is like, this is what I want, pattern
Yeah,
myself, a marriage after that.
yeah.
And I was saying to myself then, you don't
I
want
don't want
this.
this. Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't speak it then, but it was in my spirit. It's like, Kourtney, you don't want this
Yeah.
because
I don't remember saying it, but I know that that's what some I was thinking because
yeah, yeah,
I was looking like, oh my gosh, I love it because your husband,
yeah,
he was grilling out and we
yeah,
was, yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
was
yeah,
beautiful. It was
yeah.
beautiful. Y'all had land, you had donkeys and
Yes, goats.
animals.
Yes, little petting farm, everything,
Yes. I mean, it was
everything.
just like beautiful,
Yeah,
like beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was a lie.
Wow.
Inside I was torn up. Okay, but he was happy because
Hmm.
you having your cake and ice cream too, so he
Me
was
too.
happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
but
Wow.
but that was 2019. But and then here comes COVID. When I
Mm.
filed, it took longer for the divorce because of COVID. Courts and
Mm.
everything was shut down. But in the meantime, I mean, hey, I'm still at my mom's house. It's like I'm
Hmm.
good. I'm good. I knew, which direction now that we were heading in. So it was finally in 2020, finally got the final divorce. But then even after the final divorce, Kourtney, I had to go back and redo it because of something that I found out that he did. He and his lover, our banker, forged my name
What?
on the line of credit. And it's like, no, 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 no. We got to reopen this. I am
Mm.
not taking this debt on, and especially because it wasn't my debt,
Mm-hmm.
but I was going to be responsible for that debt. I was awarded the rental property, which was the smaller property. And of course, he had the house. So it's like, okay, well, you can have the house because God told me to walk away from that house.
Right.
And I had the rental property, and I was not going to keep the rental property because the rental property held so many bad memories.
Mm.
Bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where I was beaten. That's where I
Mm.
walked in on him in the bed with someone else. It's like, I don't want this house. because it was too many what I call demons, omens, bad memories,
Oh
bad
yeah,
spirits.
for sure.
So, but after it was found, 2020, I had been coming to, do you want me to shift to where Daryl comes in that because
Yeah, yeah.
I came in
So
in
yeah, let us
2020.
know the time frame. And let me
Yeah.
ask you from the time frame
Mhm.
of you, the final divorce, or how long did it take you to heal? Because I think that's important because a lot of people feel like, oh, I just got a divorce. Let me get up under somebody else to fill that void. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
I just got out of one relationship. I need somebody else to fill that void. I think a lot of times what people need is to heal. And it takes
yeah.
time. It may take some people longer than others because, to be
Hmm.
honest, some people in marriages, they've been done with the marriage. They just body sitting in it. So they may not take as long to heal because they have been done with it. So just let me know, like let everybody know the time frame. What was your healing process looking like from that?
My healing process, like I said, 2018, I knew it was over.
Mm-hmm.
So really my healing it really began at that point.
Okay.
And 2019 is when I filed. 2020 is when it was when it was final, it was over. It was over, but it was really over for me in 2018 because like I said, 2018, that last affair, that took something out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was always someone close to us. And of course, this was, you know, one of his friends
Mm-hmm.
that had been to our house and I'm feeding them dinner and all. And it's like, man, and you all, and I just told us, I can't believe you. I can't believe what you did. So I was done. I was really done. So my healing really started at that point. Even during the filing process, I knew I was done. So, when you're done, you're done.
Yeah, you did.
You got to know that you're really done. Yes, yes. You and I both know, and the feelings it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I could never hate him as a person,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not in love with him
Right,
at
right.
all.
At all.
The in love stage was gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was totally gone. So it took a minute. It took a minute. So but 2020 is when I just really started realizing it's time to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to worry about, oh, I got to hurry and go home and cook. Oh, I got to make sure breakfast is ready. Oh, I got to make sure. No, I just did me.
Mm-hmm.
I cooked for my mom and my two siblings, when I wanted to. It's like they were happy when I cooked the meal. If I wanted to eat out, I wanted to eat out. I didn't have to worry about I got to hurry and be home, by 6 o'clock because he's getting home at 6 and I need to have dinner ready. None of that. It
Right.
was a freedom. It was about me at that point. I didn't have to worry about anyone uh, calling me fat.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm like,
Fat. Never
okay.
was fat. Never was fat.
Yeah. I got called fat. And I remember one day I went to the beauty shop and came home. It's like, you spend all day in the beauty shop for that? It's like, okay, well, thank you. So these are the things I'm telling you, it got in my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
we have to be careful about that.
Mm,
Allowing someone to enter, your space and get in your mindset
yeah.
because you start believing these things. So I started believing, yeah, I guess I am fat.
Mhm.
Size 8 and a size 10.
Never was
10
fat
at the max.
ever.
But
Still ain't fat.
according to him, I was fat. It's like,
I mean, you look
okay,
good.
thank you.
You hear me? I mean, like good, like good.
But I believed the lie. I
Mhm.
believed it. But like I said, you have to make sure you heal before you enter into anything. So I was at my content point until 2020 when things changed.
Mhm.
Yeah, things changed in 2020. I was not looking for anyone because, like I said, because now I made up my mind, okay, Lord, it's just me and you. We're
Yeah,
good now.
yeah,
We're good because I
yeah.
didn't have to answer to anyone.
Right.
But didn't realize that a huge change was about to take place in my life. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
now you went from divorce to single, and
Mhm.
now you are happily married. And I
Yes,
can
yes,
see on
yes,
the
yes,
pictures, like your
yes,
smile is
yes,
like,
yes.
ugh.
I mean, I wake up smiling and I go to bed smiling. I mean, I have a husband and in the middle of the night that he's just kissing me on the forehead and making sure I'm covered, pulling covers up over me and then kiss me on my forehead. And that's like, and then he goes back to sleep. It's like, and if I cough, baby, you okay? It's like, yeah, I just coughed. You want me to get you something? No, I'm okay.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
him, Mr. Right. So let's talk about
Yeah.
him because I love to see it. I love, 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 love to see
Yeah.
it. So you ended up, I guess y'all met, and because I don't think I even know the story. I don't know. You may have told me the story, I may have forgot. But just talk about where you are current.
Okay. The story I'm telling you is Kourtney, it's a love story and it's God. I have been coming, my daughter lives here in Augusta, Georgia, my oldest, and they have been here for I mean years. My daughter, her husband, and her four sons.
Okay.
And now she's a grandmother now. That's the one, that's where my great grandbaby comes in
Okay.
through her, through my first child.
Yeah.
And so I was coming back and forth, and my son-in-law called me one day. He said, Mother-in-law, I said, what? He said, I met someone here that you know. I said, I don't know anyone in Augusta, Georgia, but you and my daughter and my grandson, my grandchildren. And now I have been coming here for over 15 years,
Mm,
back and forth to Augusta. He said, yeah. He said, all of this came from a lanyard around my now husband's neck, Alabama Crimson Tide lanyard.
mm,
Here in Georgia, everybody's Georgia Bulldogs, or South Carolina, but most of them Georgia Bulldogs. So he saw Daryl on the installation, Fort Gordon, where there's about 30 some thousand people on this Army base.
wow.
And he saw Daryl with this lanyard and he said, Roll Tide. So my husband said, Roll Tide. And both of them was on their way to lunch to the bowling alley to get their famous chicken fingers and eating lunch. And then they didn't say anything else to each other. And he saw him again another time, maybe a couple of days or so later. And Ahmad said again, Roll Tide. So Daryl said, Roll Tide, his men come in. He said, Where are you from? He said, I'm from Alabama. He said, That's why I'm Roll Tide. He said, I'm from Alabama. He said, What part of Alabama? My son-in-law said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. He said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. And my husband said, he said, well, I know this. Dara told me, he said, I know this is a way to test and see if he's really from Birmingham, because some people say they're from Birmingham and they're not really from Birmingham.
Mhm.
He said, what high school did you go to? And my son-in-law said, I went to Phillips High School. Daryl said, you looking at a 1980 graduate of Phillips High School. He said, what? He said, and my son-in-law said, Daryl, he said, you may know some of my folks. He said, who are your folks? And I don't know why my son-in-law said this. He said, you know a Kenneth? And that's my baby brother. He said, Kenneth Bryant? He said, yes. He said he had a real pretty sister named Vanessa. He said, she's still pretty. That's my mother-in-law. He said, what? He said, well, and I don't know if Daryl asked, was I married or something? He said, but Daryl said, he said, well, tell her I said hello. He said, and my mom made it known that it ain't like that. She's not in a marriage because my divorce was pretty much fine, but I had, like I said, I had to reopen it. He said, no, he said, I don't talk or date married women. He said, I don't do that. That's what Daryl told me. He said, no, it's okay. It's not like that. I make sure I tell her you said hello.
Mhm,
Ahmad called me. He said, I met someone you know. I was like, I don't know anyone there. And when he told me what happened, I said, take a picture and send it to me. Maybe I remember him. I don't know. I said, because he was 2 years younger than I am. He was with my baby brother. Kourtney, Dara was my baby brother's best friend
Oh
through
wow.
elementary school and in high school. Dara was
Wow.
coming to the same house that I moved back to, my mother's house from 1968, and he was coming there as a child. I was in the seventh grade. He was in the fifth grade. So I consider him as a little boy. It's like
Mm,
my little brother's friend. It's like,
mhm,
I'm little boys, I'm thinking
mhm.
I'm grown. I'm just in the seventh grade and he's in the fifth.
Right.
And so I told him, I said, well, I said, well, hey, that's the next time I'm in Georgia, I just say hello to you. He said, well, okay. 2 weeks later, my daughter had to have emergency surgery. So I end up back in 2 weeks and I said, well, I did say I was going to say hello. I said, well, I'm just saying hello because I'm in town. He said, well, I'm on my way he was on his way to Baton Rouge or somewhere for bowling or golfing. And he said, well, I'm in Atlanta, but I'll come back. I said, no, 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 don't come back. I just want to say hello.
Yeah.
Courtney, he drove back from Atlanta.
Oh wow.
I told him where I was. I was at the Hyatt Regency. I said, "Well, I just meet you downstairs in the lobby just to say hello." We sat at the bar at the bar, drinking water for 3 hours
Oh,
and
wow.
talking. And neither one of us, he was just out of a divorce as well. And
Mm,
neither one of us, it's like, no, we're not looking for anyone. It's just, I just want to say hi and that's it. We did not realize that that hi was going to be a hello forever. And
mm,
we had so much in common and talk to each other. But, he wasn't looking for anyone and I certainly wasn't either. But God know we needed each other.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was healing for both of our souls.
So, excuse me, I love it. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So, in that time span, so y'all started out as friends, it seems like.
Friends. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were just catching up, and he hadn't seen my brother. Daryl he went into Army. He's 21 year retired Army, and my brother went in Air Force. So they lost touch because they
Mm,
went, separate ways. And I'll never forget when I was talking to Daryl, FaceTiming him on the phone, and my brother was at my mother's house, and I said, "Hey, someone wants to say hello," and I put the phone to his face. He said, "Hey, man, I
mm.
ain't seen you in years." And they just talking. It's like, "Hey, how's everything going?" And this is the running joke. The last time he talked to Daryl, Daryl was dating someone some years ago, and he asked about the girl. And I said, and I looked in the phone, I said, "Tell him about the girl." And I'm messing with and Daryl just laughed. He told Kenny, he's like, "I'm not dating her anymore." He said, well, how's everything going? He said, "Wait a minute. How you knew how to get in touch with Daryl?" And my brother was kind of looking confused, and my sister was in the background, and she's like, waving and thing. And she's because she knew about Daryl, but my little brother, he didn't know that I was dating his friend from from elementary school.
Mm. Wow. I
Yeah.
love it. So when did y'all decide? Like what was the time frame? Like 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. So how did it go as far as friends, dating, engagement, and now married?
It went from just friends just saying hello. It's like, from because I didn't remember. I honestly did not remember Daryl because I didn't remember
Mm.
any of my brother's, friends, but he remembered me. And he told me when he's told me later, not the first time that we talked for 3 hours, he told me later, he said, "I always had a crush on you. I always thought you was so beautiful." I said, "Why didn't you say anything?" He said, "Because you called us little boys and you had five brothers." He said, "With those five brothers, I was not going to try to talk to you." So that's what scared him away with the five brothers and then the age difference as well.
Oh, wow.
So it took like a couple of months because and then after the first emergency surgery, my daughter had a scare with breast cancer. So I was back in Augusta again. I was like, "Hey, I'm just here, for appointment with my daughter. She has to have a biopsy and thing." And so he said, "Well, I just wouldn't mind seeing you before you leave." And so we talked again. So it went from, a couple of months with just friends talking, but those two emergency visits, that's what really brought us really closer to realize we got a little bit more in common. So
Mhm.
we finally, my daughter asked me, she said, "Are y'all dating?" I said, "I don't know. I guess so." It's like, man, I'm 60 years old. I don't know how this goes. Is he my boyfriend? Is he my friend? I don't know.
It's different. It's different when you're dating after 40. Like you don't know how it goes. And I promise you, I was the same way. So
I was
I
like,
can't imagine you was married for 30, excuse me, 30 plus years.
yeah,
So how does that go now? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, when did
yeah.
you get married? When you was how old?
Well, my first marriage was 10 years to my children's father, but he
Okay.
died. He had we were recently divorced, and he died of a aneurysm.
Okay.
Yeah, and very very early age, very early age. So it was like 10. So according to now, you see, it was 10 years with that one, 32 years with that one. So it's like no more marriage, no more. Because I've
Yeah.
been married my
Wow.
whole life.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, dating is yeah, I can't imagine how you like how does this go? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because the
get it.
first one was my high school sweetheart, and then the other one, I knew him from high school, and so at that point with Daryl was like, I don't know what do we call this? Are we boyfriend girlfriend? What
That
are we?
sounds so strange, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm 60 years old, and I got a boyfriend.
I know. I
No.
know.
Yeah, and and there was something someone also that told me, when they was trying to get me to stay. It's like, well, we don't believe in really dating. It's not wrong because you don't want to date and I'm just gonna be quite honest. You're dating, fleshly. You end up in the bed with them. I said the next person I meet, if God puts them in my life, I won't date long. I would be married. And I spoke it and
Mm-hmm.
did not realize that. No, I don't have to worry about, doing something I'm not supposed to do.
Right.
He's going to marry me if that's who God chooses to find me. So he that findeth the wife, there found me. I didn't find him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who,
Because
of course, my
he
son-in-law.
said, yeah, because he had a fine sister. He remember that fine
You
sister.
remember that? You remember
He
that?
remember that fine sister.
It's like, and we had not seen each other since maybe 1980. 79 or 80, somewhere along there. And
Wow.
he knew me. He had his eyes on me, but I didn't. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
all those years that I was coming back and forth to Augusta, God never had me to see him. There was
Mm-hmm.
blinders on because it wasn't a time.
One time.
It was not time. And Courtney, the strange thing about it, once I asked him, it's like, where do you live? Because my son-in-law said, mother-in-law, he got a good job. I said, okay. He got a nice house. I said, okay,
Come
son.
on,
And
come
he
on.
driving a Corvette. Okay, son. It's
Come
like,
on, check, check,
yeah.
check,
But it's
check.
like, but I'm looking at the code and I'm looking like, but I don't want nobody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
satisfied right now. And when I ask him where he lived, Courtney, he lives 8 minutes from my daughter.
Oh wow.
And that's where I'm living now.
Oh
So
wow.
we have been going to the same Walmart, the same mall, Augusta Mall. We're running in the same circle all these 15 plus years or so. But I
Wow.
never saw him and he never saw me here in
Mm,
Augusta.
mm.
When God has a thing planned, I mean, he has it planned.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
it's
okay, so y'all
good.
dated. So y'all
Mhm.
dated, and what was the time frame till he was like, hold up. Now I believe you the one. So what was that like?
It was less than a year.
Okay.
It was less than a year because we actually got engaged in the latter part of 2020, October of 2020 is when we
Mm.
really got engaged. When I say he put a ring on it, he put a ring on it. That was 2020. And 2022, we were married.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Valentine's Day, February the 14th, 2022. We went to Vegas and got married.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. I said, did you send me an invitation? I
And
forgot what
Courtney,
you said.
it was supposed to be a quiet thing. It's like, we too old to have a big wedding. Let's just elope.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, well, no. He said, what do you want to do? I said, wherever you want to go. He said, let's go to Vegas. That's like, okay. And then I said, well, listen, I got to at least tell the children and my
Yeah.
siblings, because it's like, I said, and we'll let them know, we don't expect you all to come, but we're going to get married.
Yeah.
Courtney, we end up, I think it was like 25 or 30 people
Oh
on the
wow.
plane. It's right there at the wedding. So it's like we got married at the chapel and they were there. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I know now currently you are like ecstatic. Like you are so
Oh,
happy.
I
Like you are
am.
so
I
happy.
am. I am. I mean, it's truly all God. When you wait on God.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't wait on the first one. I didn't wait on the second one. It was me. It was a
Yeah.
me thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one, I know it was God. Even the simple fact as far as how God reverted back, didn't even know that this was my little brother's best friend
Mm.
from elementary school through high school. And then out of 30 some thousand people at this base, my son-in-law runs across him
Mm.
from an Alabama Crimson Tide lanyard and a simple roll tide.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
why we're together now.
Wow.
God just he strategically planned it, and it was at a point where both of us was really we were divorced. I was healed, he was healed. Of course, you still have to have things that you have to endure and go through, but
Oh
for the
yeah.
most part, we were done.
Mm.
We were done with the ex thing, and our heart was not there. I mean, mine certainly was not there as far as going back, and his was not there. So we were clear. We were clear to go, and we knew that it was God. And it's just been, of course we have our ups and downs, but it's like he's different. If I'm to the point where it's like something is going on, it's like, and I can go from 0 to 100 just like that. And he looks at me, he's like, okay. And he's the calm one. And then he'll just get quiet. And then when we go to bed at night, he'll kiss me. It's like, I'm not talking to you, and you kiss me good night. I'm not going to bed without kissing you good night, even though you're not talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love it. Like people, I mean, even when you get married, you still got to work through your kinks. You got to go
Oh,
through
you
your things,
do. You
but
do. You
it's
do.
not going to be like the first or the
No,
second one, you know?
no, no, no.
And you just learn to communicate differently. And like you
Yeah.
said, he's different,
He's different.
and
Yes.
that's what, you guys attracted to each other. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Like I had no idea you went through the things that you went through in your first and your second marriage.
Yeah.
And I know you had a happy ending, so like,
Yes. Yes.
if people really and truly take the Bible, like the certain things that God basically rewarded you for all of your pain,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
as they say,
Yes.
weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
particular scripture I held on to, and I love to quote it, is Romans 8:28, where he said, all things work together for the
All
good
things.
of
Yes.
those that love God, to those that are
Yes.
called according to his purpose.
Yes.
And I can remember Joseph and the things that he went through, how his brothers sold him out, and you can see his ending,
Mm-hmm.
and he told his brothers, he said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for my good.
God meant it for my good. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where you are. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't have those. They end up diverting, going to the left or going to the right, not following the
Mm-hmm.
path. And see, you didn't operate in vengeance, you didn't operate in
No.
evil, you didn't operate in
No.
retaliation. You
No.
just
Mm-mm.
flowed and allowed everything to fall in its directed places. And God is blessing you still beyond your wildest dreams. And I know
Yeah.
that you was in a place of, I can't believe, is this true? I know you were pinching yourself,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yeah, because I couldn't believe it because here it is. I mean, you get to you point and you think, okay, do all men cheat? Are all
Right.
men, you really get to that point
Get
because
to.
being around some others and it's like you talking to someone else and their husband did the same thing. It's like, can anyone be faithful?
Right.
And the answer
Right.
is yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. When
Mm-hmm.
you have that person's whole heart
Mm-hmm.
and you know that it's God. I
Yep.
mean, you don't even see the person walking by.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't. And you
Yeah.
don't give a person a second thought or wink, and you check them quickly when it's like, when you know that they're trying to come across in a different way. It's like,
Right.
hey, no, don't go there.
Yeah.
I don't need or want you flirting with me because my
Right.
husband flirts with me all the time and tells
All
me,
right.
I love you and
Mm-hmm.
and, and embraces. And so no, I don't need that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I can say is you've got to have trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is so much. I trust Daryl with my whole heart.
Mm-hmm.
I respect him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly honor him, and he is a provider. He's just everything that a man of God is supposed to be, and a husband.
Yeah.
Great father, great provider.
Mm.
And that is truly a blessing when you don't have to worry about, you know, he's looking at the neighbor next door, someone walking down the street. I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
It's
Right.
just it's just it's just not it's not a part of him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not a part of him. And that's great when a man has that kind of love and respect for his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a man should be, like you
Yes.
said, a
Yes.
man should love the wife as Christ loved the church. So yeah,
Yes.
you should have that utmost respect for the wife.
Yes.
And
That's it.
I'm ecstatic. I am so grateful that you chose to sit down and do this podcast with me, because
Yeah.
I mean, I pray that it reaches the right people, because everybody has a story, and they're somewhere in their life where they may be in this middle place of,
Hmm.
where they were divorced and now they're single and they just don't know what
Hmm.
the next is going to look like. And,
Hmm.
can you please encourage them, give them some encouraging words before we end?
Yes. One thing that I can say, which is my favorite scripture, Psalms 37:4, it says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of thy heart. God has truly given me the desires of my heart. He knew what my desire was, even when I was in that rough place. So I want to encourage anyone that's in that rough place right now. Trust God. Trust God. Seek Him for everything, and follow the instructions what He give you. Don't believe what you're seeing. compared to what God has promised you. Don't let that throw you off track. Because if anyone had seen some of the things and realized what I was going through, even myself, I would have gotten off track. And then another thing is, age ain't nothing but a number.
Come on now.
It ain't nothing but it ain't nothing but a number. I thank God for where I am now, and the promise that my latter days will be my better days. Oh, my latter days are better. They're fantastic. It is such a blessing. I wouldn't take nothing in the world for this journey now. So be encouraged, no matter what the age is, and realize that you are worth it. You are worth it. We have to think more highly of ourselves than we think of the other one that we in a relationship with. Value yourself and especially your walk with God.
Mm,
Trust him.
mm. I love
Trust
it.
him. He will give you your heart's desire. I promise you that. I'm a living witness.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so, so much again. This
Thank
has
you for
been
the invite.
beautiful. Like it's
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful love story, a beautiful testimony. And I am just waiting for you to write that book because the book is in
I
you.
am going to do that. I am going to do that.
Yes,
I promise you.
definitely.
I'm going to get to the place, and I know God is going to nudge me and let me know it's time. Pull
Yeah.
out those old journals, go through what I need to go through, because it's easy now.
Mhm.
For the past 5 years or so, it's easy writing about the past experience and past fact because
Yeah.
all of it's been just absolutely wonderful. But I
Yeah.
have to revisit that dark time, that
Yeah.
hurt time, in
Yeah.
order to get to where I am now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
thank you so much, Courtney. Love you and your
I
love
love
story
you.
as well. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. So happy for
Yes.
you. Look at
Thank
us
you so
now.
much. I know. Look at us. Look at us. We kind of went through the same thing and look at us on the other
Yeah.
side. You
On
know
the
what I'm
other
saying? It's on the
side.
other side. You know, we just
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
endure some things and we're on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I am loving it. So for those that are watching this podcast, if you don't know that I wrote a book called Swipe Right After 40, and it kind of entails some of the things that I went through my previous marriage to where I am now. So
Yeah.
make sure you go to swiperightatter40.com and purchase the ebook today. And yeah, it's gonna bless your life. And when Miss
Yeah.
Vanessa write her book, child, I'm gonna let y'all know, honey, that's really
Yeah.
gonna bless your life because I cannot wait. So
Yeah.
again, thank you so much, and thank you for those that are watching. If you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to this podcast via iHeartRadio or Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Also all the streaming podcasts, then make sure that you like this podcast, like it, make sure you comment down below and give me a review because I want to hear from you. And I want to hear what did you take away? What was your biggest takeaway from this? Did you learn anything? Are you in a similar situation right now? How has Vanessa encouraged you? And yeah, show us some love in the comments. So
Yeah.
you guys, I will see you back on the next episode of the New Era podcast. And the reason it's called the New Era because we are in a new era. Miss Vanessa
Yes.
is in a new era, y'all.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is a new era. So yes, I thank y'all so much, and I will see you guys on the next podcast. Bye.
Bye.